Welcome to round 2 of Shakey's Summaries. This episode, the Comedy of Errors. Today we journey to the city of Ephesus, an ancient Greek city on the coast of Ionia, which is now part of present-day Turkey. The play opens with Aegeon, a Syracusan merchant who has been detained by the guard of Ephesus due to the fact that Ephesus and Syracuse are currently at war. He is thrown before the Duke of Ephesus, who explains that unless 1,000 marks are paid to ransom him home, Aegeon will die. Aegeon isn't flustered at all. He seems fine with this, which piques the Duke's curiosity, and he asks Aegeon why the Syracusan merchant would dare come to the city of Ephesus. 20 years ago, I was a big old rich merchant, but my business partner died, so I decided to travel overseas, check out his side of the business. But 6 months into that, my wife followed me because it turns out she was pregnant. And she had twins! Now these boys looked so alike to one another that it was literally impossible to tell them apart. And then, in the same inn, in the same hour, another woman gave birth to another set of twins. So I did what any reasonable person would do. This woman was very poor, so I bought her children off of her with the intention of turning them into servants for my children. Now, my wife was very insistent that we return home at once to raise the children, and I eventually consented to, set sail. But oh, the tragedy, 3 miles off the coast, we were hit by a terrible storm. I'll be honest, I was about ready to give up there, and then the crew had already fled with the lifeboats, you see, and so we were stranded in the middle of a storm on a sinking ship. But, the kids were crying, the wife was crying, so I thought, screw it, I'll do what I can. My wife tied herself and the younger of our twins to a bit of wood, then lashed one from the other set of twins to him. I did likewise with the other two. Once the storm had passed, they saw 2 ships, each heading in different directions. But before either could reach us, a rock split the wooden beam in 2, and my wife and 2 of the children were taken by the current and the wind. They were rescued by one ship, and I by another. I tried my utmost to chase down the other ship, but it was too fast, and so I was forced to return home with my set of the 2 twins. Aegeon breaks off, choked with emotion, but the Duke just has to know the full story. When my son turned 18, he began wondering about his lost brother and asked if he could take his attendant with him who had also lost a brother but kept his brother's name and go off in search of their lost siblings. I let them go, but I wish to see them again and have been searching for them for 5 years. Yeesh, a summary within a summary, am I right? The Duke takes pity on Aegeon. You have until sunset to come up with the money. I can't do better than that, I'm afraid. Meanwhile, in the marketplace, Antipholus and Dromio of Syracuse, the set of boys that Aegeon raised, have arrived in Ephesus. Don't worry, they know not to tell anyone that they're from Syracuse. Antipholus sends Dromio ahead to an inn with money for lodging, whilst he looks around the city for a bit. Once Dromio goes on his way, Antipholus has a quick chat to us about feeling discontented because he's been unable to find his brother after 5 years of searching. Then Dromio shows up and tells Antipholus that his wife is waiting for him to come to lunch. Where's my money, Dromio? What money? The money I just gave you. You haven't given me any money. Fill it! So Antipholus beats Dromio, who runs away very confused. We are then taken to the house of Antipholus of Esopus. I nearly forgot his name just then. Where we see his wife, Adriana, venting to her sister, Luciana. She's mad that it's been so long since she sent Dromio out to find Antipholus. But of course, right on cue, in comes Dromio of Esopus, who tells her that Antipholus said he didn't have a wife, which of course does wonders for Adriana's temper. She kicks Dromio out, quite literally, and tells him to go out and find Antipholus, or else. And back to Antipholus of Syracuse. He's discovered that his money is safe at the inn, and is now searching for Dromio. He finds him and questions him about his bizarre behavior, which Dromio is of course entirely ignorant of. You said I had a wife, but you don't have a wife. Yes, I know that, you idiot. Husband! Antipholus turns and sees Adriana, who insists he returns home. And whilst he is very confused at how she could possibly know his name, he consents to go to this kind lady's home. Upon their arrival home, Adriana commands Dromio to guard the door and let no one enter. Cut to the market. A goldsmith has agreed to make a golden necklace or chain for Antipholus of Esopus, who offers the goldsmith some dinner at his humble abode, only to find the door to his home locked, so he gets Dromio to try and open it for him, because that's what servants are for. But this Dromio finds that he can't open it either, and the way is barred by the other Dromio from Syracuse, and the two of them can't see each other because there's a door in the way. Nice one, Shakespeare. Man, my wife must be real mad at me. Let's go to this girl I know that we all know and eat there. I'll meet you there, says the goldsmith. Back at the house, Luciana is chiding Antipholus for acting the way he has been, after which he decides it's a good time to tell her that he loves her. She, of course, is distraught and runs out because she thinks that Antipholus wants to cheat on her sister. And then Dromio comes running in with a haunted look in his eye. He reveals that the ugly kitchen wench believes that the two of them are betrothed and that she somehow knew all of his birthmarks. Well, there can be only one natural assumption, of course. These people must be witches and we need to get the hell out of the city. Dromio, go find a ship that sails tonight, says Antipholus. So Dromio departs in search of a ship, and the goldsmith enters, bearing a gold chain. He offers this to Antipholus after congratulating him on finding a way inside his house, and says, "Oh no, you don't need to pay me now, I'll get the money from you later, old chum." So Antipholus accepts the chain, and goes outside to wait for Dromio's news of a ship. Later that day, Antipholus of Esopus is walking through the streets and tells his Dromio to go and buy some rope so that he might punish his family for locking him out of his own house. Then, after Dromio leaves, the goldsmith approaches, asking for the money that, he's owed for the gold chain. However, this isn't the same Antipholus he gave the chain to, so naturally an argument develops between them and results in Antipholus being arrested. Before being taken away, however, Dromio of Syracuse enters and tells Antipholus, "Hey, great news! I found a boat that leaves tonight." "But I set you up for rope, you idiot," starts Antipholus, but cuts himself off and tells Dromio to run to the house and get his bail money quickly. So, off Dromio runs and gets the bail money from Adriana, only to run into Antipholus of Syracuse and give him the gold instead. "Well, this is very nice," says Antipholus, "but what about the ship?" "Oh, now you remember," says Dromio. "Yeah, I found one that leaves tonight. I already told you this." "Well, we must both be seeing visions. We gotta get out of here fast." Enter a courtesan who clearly knows the local Antipholus, who's taken a diamond ring from her and promised the gold chain in exchange, which she now wants. However, this Antipholus and Dromio clearly think that she's the devil in disguise and run. So she decides, well, the only way I'm gonna get what I'm owed is if I have a talk to this man's wife. Back to Antipholus of Esopus, who's been arrested and brought to jail. His Dromio returns, proudly bearing the rope he was asked to retrieve. Enraged, Antipholus beats Dromio, thinking that he spent 500 ducats on rope. Then, Adriana, Luciana, the courtesan, and a doctor arrive on the scene. "Doctor, help him! I think he's gone mad!" "Yes, this man is clearly possessed by Satan." "Oh, come on!" The doctor and some townsfolk proceed to bind Antipholus and Dromio of Esopus and lock them in their house. After this is done, they see Antipholus and Dromio of Syracuse enter with drawn swords. They all run away, thinking that they've been magically unbound, and, swords are pretty scary too. Antipholus and Dromio celebrate the fact that these witches are afraid of their swords, and run to the center inn to grab their things and load them onto the boat that leaves at dusk. However, before they can do this, they are intercepted by the goldsmith, and nearly come to blows because Antipholus denies denying payment to the goldsmith for the gold chain that he is now wearing. Before this altercation can escalate, however, in come the townsfolk to try and capture them once more. So they seek refuge in the local priory, and the abbess gives them shelter, barring entry to the mob outside. Adriana argues with her to no avail, so she decides that the only person who can really help is the Duke, who's conveniently passing by. While they talk and try to get Antipholus and Dromio out of the priory, the other Antipholus and Dromio, who were tied up, have broken free and show up to try and explain their side. The Duke is perplexed by these mismatching stories, as are the townsfolk, and it's not until the priory doors are flung open and the other Antipholus and Dromio reveal themselves that the story finally becomes clear. Aegeon is finally reunited with his lost sons, and the Duke agrees to spare him once it is revealed that the abbess is in fact his long-lost wife. Antipholus from Syracuse approaches Luciana and talks with her about his love, and she's a lot more receptive now that she knows the full story. And that's the end. They all lived happily ever after. It's the comedy of errors! Yeah! It's a play of mistaken identity! Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell if you feel like it. See you in the next one.